Hi, my name is Lauren Heilman, and today I will be going over the French horn executive skills video. So in this video, I'll be talking about horn posture, hand position, embouchure, and proper breathing. So this first portion is over posture. Something I like to think about is making sure that in all instrumental playing, and honestly music in general, you want to make sure that you have good posture and you're comfortable, you're not too stiff, and you're not, all loose and have your shoulders rolled over, and you're having good posture, making sure that you're allowing your lungs to open up and breathe, filling your lungs all the way up and all the way out. When you have your horn, like I do here, making sure that you find a position that's comfortable for you, that you can get good tone, you can match the rest of your section's tone, and you get the best performance you can out of it. Posture is really important, but making sure you can move your posture so you get good tone is also, is equally as important. Moving into that, when we go on to hand position, you're going to take your left hand and you're going to, I hook my pinky in the pinky ring. You don't have to. A lot of the times your ring finger and your pinky finger want to move together. Compared to the rest of your fingers, they can typically move by themselves. But for the way that I'll be explaining how to hold your horn, it's typically good practice to have your pinky in the ring, your ring finger on the third, your middle finger on the second, and your pointer finger on the first, with your hand wrapping around this piping and your thumb on your trigger. If you don't have a trigger and you play single horn, just go ahead and rest your thumb, making sure it's not in the way of these valves right here. As for your right hand, you're going to want to make sure that I try to play with my sleeves up, just so you don't block any sound, because your sound will travel up your arm, because your arm is an extension of your bell. But if we look in here, we want to make sure that your horn bell is not completely blocked by your hand, otherwise you're going to get no sound, and you don't want it to be out completely because your tone will go down. But I like to think of it, it's about right, I know it's not great, but about maybe 60% out your horn, maybe even 50, just depends on the size of your bell. For mine and the size of my hand, I like to think if I can open up my fingers and just about barely touch the other side, you should be pretty good. Of course, don't go extreme, but I like to think about it right here. When you can play in two ways, you can play with your horn on your knee if you can't quite lift your instrument. I know that a lot of younger students have those issues. Or you could do it how I do it. When I play like this, I can stand up, I can turn around, I can go bells up, and I have quick access to do any horn extracurriculars like stopped horn or anything like that. But if you decide to play on your knee, just make sure that you are able to have that extension. Your horn is not going to be like this. That's what it's going to look like head on if your bell is right into your body. Making sure I have a permanent spot on my knee because I've been playing so long on my knee. Just recently being able to lift up my horn and play with better technique. Making sure that you're about at a 45-degree angle. If this is 90 and this is 0, making sure you're at 45 degrees, about right here. Making sure that when you have your knee, your horn on your knee, your mouthpiece leads right into it. Something I can recommend to you is, for a little bit, I'm pretty short, like I mentioned, I always kind of like lifted up my toe if I needed to go a little bit higher, a little bit lower, and moving the bell closer to your body and away from your body can help with that mouthpiece position as well. Next up, we're going to do horn embouchure. So when you think of embouchure on your brass instruments, typically they're almost all the same except for horn, because that's just how lucky we are. Typically for brass instruments, you're going to want to put your mouthpiece 50% on your top lip and 50% on your bottom lip. But with French horns, you want it 60% on your top lip and 40% on your lower lip. Not quite sure why that is. I think it just helps with pitch tendencies. But I've always I've always had big lips, so it's been interesting trying to figure out embouchure. I've tried a couple different things. Something I can recommend is if you have bigger lips, don't discourage your playing. It's just, you gotta morph what works best for you. If you have smaller lips, it does help putting getting your lips into this mouthpiece. There's a ton of different mouthpieces out there. Experimenting what works best for you is definitely gonna help out with any instruments. There's plenty of accommodations out there, but what I like to do most of the time, if I'm waiting for a rest, my mouthpiece will be right here. It looks a little dumb, understandably, but making sure that you are mostly on your top lip. I pull back my corners a little bit just because I do have bigger lips. I don't think you'd have to do that quite as much if you have thinner lips, but making sure that your lips are tight and you're gonna be able to buzz. When you do breathing, don't lift your shoulders up with your embouchure in place, which we can move on to breathing. Proper breathing when you're playing brass is really important in all instruments, actually. When you breathe, making sure that you're not breathing with your chest, you're breathing with your stomach. I like to think of breathing out of my hip bones, because I've been playing a lot of lower stuff recently, below the staff, and even in bass clef a little bit, but just making sure that you're breathing low enough. I like to think of a bathtub analogy. So if you're taking a bath and you want to be completely clean, understandably, it's why you're taking a bath. So you fill up your tub, you take your bath, and you drain the water completely. That's what you should do, right? Well, think about your breathing like that. We take a shallow breath, or don't completely push all of the air out of our systems. It's as if you left 10% of the water in your bath and then just ran the bath again and took another bath the next time. Now think about that for a second. Is your bath going to be as clean as it was the first time? No, it would not, because there's that 10% of clean water from last time. So making sure that you push all the air out of your system and breathing all the air in that you can. There's a lot of exercises that you can do to expand your lungs and expand your breathing capacities. I've been doing those because I was in marching band for so long. So I do have a pretty good lung capacity. However, I still do work on those sometimes because it's a good thing to keep up. And it definitely helps with your proper breathing. So when you combine all of these things with your posture, sitting up straight, it helps with your breathing, which can help go back to your posture, which can help holding your horn properly with your hand position. Putting all 4 things that I've talked about in this video together, along with those exercises that I mentioned, can help you have good tone, which is super important on horn, because as soon as you slip up a pitch tone or something like that, you could definitely hear it if you're in a group, just because tuning on horn is a little bit more difficult with how many different pitches you can play in the harmonic sequence and how tight it gets when you get to about C in the staff. So just making sure that you have the fundamentals down of posture, hand position, your embouchure, and your breath support, everything like that can definitely help the future, making sure that we have a good foundation. So I wish you luck in your future endeavors of playing horn. Don't lose hope. Ask for help when you need it. You got it.